Good evening and welcome out to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be showing you around tackle trading here this evening, letting you know what we're all about, what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it. So hopefully you can get to know us better and get to know the tackle trading website a little bit better as well. So we can go ahead and dive right in. I guess before we dive in, just a couple of resources that I would like to highlight is number one, tradingjustice.com. I'm in the Trade Center. You'll find a link to tradingjustice.com directly in here, but it is just tradingjustice.com. Each week, you will find the Trading Justice podcast, a very informative and entertaining listen. For us traders, definitely worth checking out and incorporating into your weekly routine. You can catch it directly on tradingjustice.com. That's what I do. Or if you're more of a podcast person, you can find it on all of the major providers as well. That is the Trading Justice podcast. And they also have a really, really nice monthly newsletter over at tradingjustice.com as well that's very much worth reading. You will also find a link up top to the Huddle at the end of the trading week, Fridays usually, barring weird holidays, which we're about to get into that season, right? So Fridays, just a quick wrap up of the top 10 storylines of the market, just quick and easy and unbiased. So if you haven't had a ton of time to follow along the market this week, can get you caught back up and help you stay caught up in the market. That is the Huddle every Friday afternoon. Those two resources can definitely be good additions, in my opinion, to a weekly routine. Let's kind of dive into tackle trading, though. At the end of the day, we're just a community of traders. We've come together to share ideas, to help each other out, all of that fun stuff. And to me, that's what tackle trading is. Although when you're explaining it, it's easier to kind of show it, right? So I like to break it down into three different areas when I'm explaining it. I break it down into the things that you can do on your own. That's going to be courses, blogs, some of the tools in our trade center, things that you can do with others. That's going to be our schedule, our daily and our weekly shows. And lastly, our weekend report, where each weekend we're sharing ideas with our community through our scouting report. So that'll be kind of the way that we come at it here this evening as well. Let's kind of dive right in to things that you can do on your own. And of course, to me, what stands out the most there is going to be the courses. We do have several courses available to all of our pro members. Our 7-step guide to trading course is, in some ways, it's kind of the tackle trading way. No two traders are the same, but we do share some core philosophical views of the market. We take that top-down approach, start broad and work down, market into sector, into industry, into stock, right? How we know we're big watch list traders. So how do we build, curate, and manage that watch list? So it'll really give you an idea of kind of our general approach here at tackle trading. Of course, you'll put your own spin on it, just like all of us will, but it should help you on that side of things. If you are newer to trading and don't really have an established rhythm and routine down, that's okay. I mean, that's where most of us start. Hopefully this can really help kind of jumpstart that side of things. If you're a vet, if you've been trading a while, I'm sure you've already got a plan and a system that works for you. So maybe this can just give you a couple of ideas to make it a little bit smoother. I do think whether you're a new trader or a veteran trader, there's going to be some value in that 7-step guide to trading. Of course, as traders, charting is very important to us, right? And that's exactly what we'll talk about in that technical analysis course, support, resistance, trend, pattern, all of that fun stuff. No matter what we're trading, no matter what our time frames are, we're all going to be using technical analysis. And the better and more comfortable and confident we are in our technical analysis skills, I think the easier the rest of this stuff is going to be. Over in the Options 101 course, we're really going to discuss kind of what's going on when you buy or sell that option contract. So we're going to talk a lot about the Greeks and implied volatility and liquidity and all of that fun stuff that we really do need to understand. It's going to make, any strategy that we're trading is going to be a lot easier, I think, to learn and understand if we understand why that call lost 37 cents today, why that put is up $1.19 today. If we understand why these contracts are moving the way they're moving, I think the strategies are going to just be they're going to make a lot more sense. And so we're not going to really talk a lot of strategies. I'll show you strategy where you can find our strategies here shortly, but we're really going to talk about the options themselves and kind of what's going on behind the scenes over there. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex markets or both, but not really knowing where to start, the futures or the forex course can be a great introduction to see if those markets are something that you are interested in pursuing. Not everybody wants to trade in those markets, and that's fine. That's great. We get to choose what we want to trade, right? We don't have to trade forex if we don't want to. But I do think in some ways those markets are intimidating to a lot of traders that just too big for me or too leveraged or whatever the case might be. It's fine if that's the way that you feel, but maybe we can take a look at it, see if it's something that isn't quite as scary as we thought. I know for me, it was a long time before I even looked at the futures because I just felt like they were too big for me. And I don't really feel that that was the right way to look at it, but I didn't really know where else to go, I guess. So if you've ever been interested in learning more about either or both of those markets, that can be a really great place to start. Regardless of what you're trading, maybe you are already trading forex, maybe you're a cash flow option trader, maybe you're day trading in cryptos, maybe you're a traditional swing trader, maybe you're a little bit of all of those things. No matter who you are and what you're trading, we do need to have very clear rules and systems in place, and that's exactly what we're going to focus on here in that system development course. I cannot recommend this course enough. No matter who you are and what your time frame is and what your trading products of choice are, it will make a big impact on your trading once we learn to and embrace approaching our trading from a system perspective. It really does take a lot of the, I don't know, stress out of trading, maybe. So, and I think at face value, we all understand it's important to have clearly defined rules and systems. It's just one thing to say it, another thing to really apply it. So I would definitely encourage, everyone, I encourage everybody I meet to take some time to do that system development course, because I do think it can really change your approach to trading. You will also find our premium systems in here. These are one-time purchases. The system, it's a complete system. The system is yours for life. We get together once a month with members of that team in a mastermind group, just so you know what they are. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year with the intent of cash flowing via covered calls. Our step system is kind of our approach to swing trading, just standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors, another cash flow system, this time through selling credit spreads on the Russell 2000, and the bear market survival guide, kind of protecting our longer term portfolio from bearish turns in the market and then dealing with those market conditions if and when they occur. If you would like any more information on any of these systems, you can find more information over in the store. You can also send us an email to team@tackletrading.com, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you might have about any of those systems. Not everything's going to be a course. We do regular blog content, whether it's more charting and tails of technician, more options and option theory, hearing from our awesome female trading community in the Women in Trading blog, working with Coach Greg on concepts kind of from the ground up over in the Rookie Corner blog. These are just additional ways that we can share ideas with the team. Sometimes we'll have a request and Coach Tyler will do a video in the options theory blog on it this week. So it really is just another way that we can reach and teach members of our team. Be on the lookout for those blogs. They do come out pretty regularly as well. Over in the Trade Center, you're going to find a link to our events calendar, which we'll circle back to before we're done, a link to our trading journals, a link to our trading glossary, and a link to the Tackle Trading Playbook. Here in the Tackle Trading Playbook, this is where you're going to find all of our strategies and the rules for those strategies. We put our strategies into three different baskets, right? Delta, Theta, and Vega based off of the option Greeks. Delta trades are directional trades, buying stock, buying calls, debit spreads, movement-based strategies. I think the stock's going from 50 to 55 or from 90 to 80. I expect movement. I want to take advantage of that expectation. Then you're going to have the theta or the cash flow side of things. Cool thing about options is we get to sell them and bring in that premium, right? That's going to be covered calls. Hey, own 100 shares of company ABC. I'll sell you a call and cash flow my shares while I own them. Maybe a naked put. Hey, I don't own 100 shares of this stock, but I'd like to at my price. Our credit spreads, our iron condors, these theta or cash flow based strategies are very helpful in an overall trading plan, at least in my opinion. And I would definitely say, as a collective group here at Tackle Trading, we are fans of cash flow strategies. Then lastly, you're going to have the Vega or the volatility playbook. This is going to be where your expectations on the volatility are what you're trying to trade. So think about the earnings season that we just came out of. As always, we saw some stocks make some pretty crazy moves, both up and down, as they were responding to those earnings announcements. Maybe I wanted to trade, a stock based off of its history of gapping on earnings, making big moves. There was no way that I could have known which way it was going to move, but maybe I felt I had an edge on that. It was going to move a lot based off of its history. So straddles, strangles, and things of the like. So these are, going to be volatility based strategies that you'll find there in the Vega playbook. In all of these, you'll find a detailed video explaining, what the strategy is, why we would choose it, our rules for the strategy, all of that fun stuff. If you're using Thinkorswim, we'll be using that and putting in an example as well if you need some help on the entry, and kind of that side of things. There's also a little cheat sheet, downloadable PDF, so you have easy access to those rules for any of those strategies. You will also notice that there's always something from a 0 to a plus or a minus, 3. And that's just kind of where we see the strategy on the kind of spectrum of conservative to aggressive or neutral to aggressive. You sort of kind of think about 0 as just flat neutral, plus or minus 1 would be slightly bullish or bearish, plus or minus 2 would be moderately or just normally bullish or bearish, and then 3 or minus 3 would be very bullish or very bearish. We always want to match our strategies to the situation, right? If I think the stock's going to move a lot, I probably want to lean towards a more aggressive strategy that benefits from that movement, whereas your read on that same stock might be it's a slow grinder, and you might want to make a trade that reflects that. So we always want to match the strategy to how we're seeing the situation, and that's kind of where we see these strategies along that spectrum. That is the Tackle Trading Playbook. Will certainly keep you busy if you are an options trader or if you're getting into options as well. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this will bring you kind of to a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. This will bring you to, we'll get there eventually, probably. Fingers crossed that my internet didn't die. I don't think it did. Looks like I'm still here. So that's a good thing. It'll bring you to a What's Up page at Tackle Trading. What's our next show, our most recent post, most recent report, most recent tweet, a little watch list that you can build for yourself, either a live showing or a replay of one of our YouTube shows, an upcoming mini events calendar, where you are in any courses that you might be taking, so you can pick right back up where you left off. So really just kind of a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. Here in the Trade Center, you will also find a variety of trader tools as well. You'll find the Market Skyline. Here in the Market Skyline, you're going to kind of find all the charts for all of the big stuff, right? So we're going to have the index futures, the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, Bitcoin, the emerging markets ETF, major commodities, gold, silver, crude, copper, etc., and the sector spider ETFs. So again, as part of top-down analysis, we're kind of working through this on a day-to-day basis to make sure we can identify, changes in trend, changes in pattern, new opportunities, all of that fun stuff. And while you don't have to do this on this page, this is a very healthy part of a daily routine. And that is for sure. We will be going into more detail in the first step of the 7-step guide to trading on this if you need a little bit of help. So just kind of all in one place, so it's easy to kind of work through them quickly. You can build them out in your own trading platform as well with your indicators and everything. But we did want to make sure that it was kind of just all the big stuff in one place. And a lot of the things that we try to do here is to save time, right? As traders, you'll also find a link to the FinViz heat maps. This will just bring you to to finviz.com to the heat map on the S&P 500 for the day. I'm just a free user of FinViz, so I have to click off some ads from time to time, but I'm all right with that. It's just a visual of the day that was. What areas were up on the day, what areas were down. Obviously, we can't make a trade off of a heat map, but it can help in generating ideas, I think, personally. Just a different approach to kind of looking at, hey, what was the market doing here today? And while the default is set up on the one-day performance, you can customize a little bit to the weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly performance, certain fundamental ratios, how it performed on earnings. So there's a little bit of customization that you can do there in that FinViz heat map. Can be just a really easy kind of a bird's eye view look at the different sectors of the market. You will find a news aggregator. This is going to go through some of the bigger financial websites, as you can kind of see here, MarketWatch, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, and just kind of grab those headlines for us and get them into one easy to process place. So I can easily just browse through the headlines. If a story captures my attention, I can then go read that story. Again, could I do this by going to CNBC.com and then going to MarketWatch? Of course I could, but this should save me and you a little bit of time as we're kind of, and certainly some clicks as we're bouncing around kind of the news of the day. You'll find a link to the economic calendar so you can know what's on the docket for the upcoming trading week or for the day. You'll find another link to our market reports. You'll find a link to our compounding gains calculator, a chart if you ever need one, another link to our glossary, as well as our search function, which you can also find our search function, this little magnifying glass, and you can also find the glossary on the drop down of the Trade Center. If we go into the trade journals, you can get to the trade journals on the drop down in the Trade Center. If you come into it through the Trade Center directly, like we just did, you will find the tutorial that'll take you through using those journals. You may or may not need it, but if you do, there's no shame in that. I know I certainly needed some help. I'm not a spreadsheet guy, so I certainly needed some help when I started doing spreadsheet journaling. This is very helpful if you're like me in that regard. Just kind of take you through how to use it. We do have 3 different journals. We have the trade journal where we can, what did we do? When did we do it? So we can track our performance. We have our theta research tool so we can build and compare our different cash flow strategies, our portfolio journal so we can stay organized. I mean, hey, if you got 17 trades going on right now, being organized can be difficult, right? But it doesn't mean you still got to do it. So in any of these, if you come into it through the Trade Center, just select the one that you wanted. And of course, as you can see here, you can just download the journal directly in here as well. So some of the things that you can do here in the Trade Center. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit and let's talk about the schedule. And let's kind of start with the day-to-day or the average market day schedule here at Tackle Trading. And that all starts off at 11 a.m. Eastern each market morning in our Traders Lounge. We get together with the team for an hour and basically just answer any questions that team members might be having. Maybe you've got a trade setup you want to share, get another set of eyeballs on, get some feedback on. Maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy. Maybe you're, in a trade and want to bounce off management ideas. Maybe you're, lots of maybes, right? We all have questions sometimes, and we do need to have a place where we can actually talk about them and answer those questions. That's exactly what we're doing each morning, each market morning, I guess I should say, at 11 Eastern in our Traders Lounge. You're always welcome in there. Your questions always welcome. There's nothing too basic and there's nothing too advanced. If you need some help, the lounge, that's exactly what it's there for. So don't be shy. Don't feel like your question doesn't matter, because it, of course, does. The Traders Lounge is not going to be regularly recorded. However, we will record some snippets within the Traders Lounge and get them posted in here. Things like how to build a broken wing butterfly that Coach Tyler did not too long ago. That's not going to change, right? The stock that he was talking about probably, will no longer be at that price, sure, but the mechanics of a broken wing butterfly are the mechanics of a broken wing butterfly, right? Today, tomorrow, next week, and next year. So we can and will record little snippets. If your schedule is such as you could just never get into anything live with us to get a question answered, we'll always do our best to accommodate you. And, let us know, of course, and say, hey, look, I'm really struggling with this. I could really use some help, but I'm at work, on market mornings. I can't join in. We'll always try to accommodate you, get a little snippet recorded and get it in here so you can get the help that you need. So that is every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. The market's open, so is the lounge. Shortly after the lounge at 12:30, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel for the Tackle Trading Halftime Report. That's a live look into the market where we're really going through that daily routine, taking that top-down approach to the markets, right? So what's going on in the market today? How is it impacting our charts and the broad indexes? How do the different indexes look? How do the different commodities look? Sectors, stocks in the news, really the whole 9 yards as we're working through that daily routine with the team. That's live on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Of course, being on YouTube, once the stream is over, you know the drill. It will just automatically populate over to our channel. So every market day, we'll be answering questions that our team might be having here at Tackle Trading in our lounge at 11 and going through that daily routine with the team over on our YouTube channel at 12:30. So we'll be working through the markets with the team each and every day. Then we're going to have our evening shows. And let's start with what I consider the flagship show, at least, and that's the Coaches Show. That's on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We do the Coaches Show. It's live. It's also recorded and archived. So if you cannot make it, or if you need to rewatch it, or if there's a subject from 4 months ago that you find interesting, you'll easily be able to access it in the archives. We're a couple days in. It's Tuesday night. We're a couple days into the trading week, so we can do a quick market skyline. Hey, what's standing out? Within the market, is there a particular sector, industry, showing some really good signals, whether from a bullish or a bearish, perspective. So we have an opportunity to do a quick market skyline, and we also have an opportunity. And this is what I love about the Coaches Show, is to take one of the many things that we could talk about in trading. And there's a lot, right? From pattern to strategy to indicator to management to money management to watch list management to daily routine. And that's just some off the top of my head, right? Some of the big ones. There's a lot that we could talk about as traders. And the Coaches Show really allows us to dial in and really have an in-depth conversation on just one of those things. We're always going to try to keep it on point with what's going on in the marketplace, right? So it's applicable in today's environment, but it really is a great way that we can kind of do a deep dive into these different subjects that are important, but there's so many of them. Sometimes it's easy to fire through them too quickly. So that is the Coaches Show. I would certainly encourage you to take some time each week. We'd love to have you live, but I get it. A schedule's a schedule. If that's just not going to work, do it at a comfortable time for you. I think you'll really enjoy that Coaches Show, but it is live on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday nights, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. This is going to be a little more narrowly focused on those cash flowing strategies, right? Building and managing those credit spreads, those covered calls, those iron condors, those naked puts, all of that fun stuff. So we're really going to focus really exclusively on building and managing those cash flow type of trades. If you're a cash flow trader, or if you're interested in, adding some cash flow strategies to your already existing trading playbook, I think you'll love the Cash Flow Club. Just like the Coaches Show, it is recorded and archived, so you can rewatch it or watch it later or watch a previous episode when it is convenient for you. On Wednesday nights, we do really a twofer, and I'm going to hop over into the events calendar as we talk about this. On Wednesday night here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar. A couple of the coaches will get together with some trade ideas. They'll bounce them off of one another, and members of our team in the chat, members of the team will vote on whose ideas they like the best, and the winner is declared the Trade Master for the week. It really is just a fun way to be able to get together midweek with the team and bounce off new ideas. By Wednesday after the market closed, we might need to beef up that watch list a little bit, right? And there's never a bad way to find a trade idea. And so it's a lot of fun and hopefully very helpful to the team as well. So we're doing that at 7 Eastern Wednesday here on the YouTube channel. And then shortly after that is over, we head over to Tackle Trading for our Wednesday night lounge. It's going to be, in some ways, it's going to be very, very similar. Well, most ways, really, to the trading lab or the lounges that we do in the morning, right? It's also, we've just got done talking about, 6 different trade ideas with the team in our Trade Masters webinar. And if we have any questions, or if we want to, go any deeper on any of those ideas, of course, we can do that. If maybe our team members are at work, Monday through Friday at 11 Eastern and can never join the lounge in the morning, well, maybe they can join the Wednesday night lounge and get that help that they need. So it will be a twofer here on Wednesday nights, again, 7 Eastern for our Trade Masters webinar here on YouTube, and then back over to Tackle Trading at 8:30 Eastern for that Traders Lounge. On Monday nights, We do our onboarding webinar just to take anybody who's new to tackle trading or maybe checking us out for the first time, to let them get to know us a little bit better. If it's ever helpful, you can of course catch the replay or join again, but no two are tremendously different from one another. Just want to make sure that folks that are joining us or newer to us or just checking us out, have a better understanding of who we are and what exactly it is that we are doing. So that's going to be the schedule. You're also going to find our Women in Trading Mastermind group. We have a tremendous team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading, and about once a month, they get together in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. They just had one this past Friday. It will be about monthly. I don't get to go, of course, but it is about once a month. I don't know exactly what happens in the Women in Trading Mastermind group, but I do know the team. I have complete confidence that they're having a lot of fun in there and getting a lot of good work done. So if you are a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, I would definitely encourage you to be on the lookout. We'll make sure that we're promoting it as we get closer and closer to that event, and get hooked up with the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading. I'm sure that you will very much enjoy it. And sorry, fellas, just like me, you'll have to find something else to do that day. So that is going to be the schedule. An overly simplified way to think about it is the lounge in the morning is for your questions, for our team's questions. We'll talk about exactly what our team wants to talk about in there. The halftime report is for that daily routine, going through the daily routine of staying on top of the market. Right? And the evening shows are where we can really kind of put on that teaching hat, go into things a little bit deeper than maybe we can in the halftime report and things of that nature. And of course, that is an overly simplified view of it, because there is going to be some of that in everything, right? But maybe to kind of help you keep organized what the schedule looks like, maybe that can help on that side of things. We've relatively recently launched what we call trading labs. We have 3 different trading labs. These are subscription services. Coach Tyler, Coach Emily, and Coach Mark all run a trading lab. Basically, they get together. It's with their specific team. They get together once a week in a live show, and they also stay in touch throughout the week in a private Discord channel. Heard a lot of great feedback from all of those trading labs. If you would like any more information, you can find it in there. And again, you can find it in the store. And as always, you can email team@tackletrading.com. We can get you that information, and we can get you set up for a trial if you are interested in doing so. So that is going to be the schedule. If you're ever feeling a little confused or overwhelmed, the events calendar can be very helpful. We'll just go in, hey, what's going on today? Okay, I'm ready to join the coach's show. Click on it. You'll get the information to get you to the show. Hopefully it will be a pretty smooth process for you. Before we talk about our reports, just quickly, a couple of other things. Our clubhouse is kind of our, it's kind of our own personal social media page. I mean, for lack of a better way to describe it, it's just team members. It's where folks, another place where folks can have discussions, ask questions, get help that they might need. Certainly invite you to join us over in the clubhouse. If some people don't really like social media, the great thing about the clubhouse is it's just trading and it's just us, right? If you ever need some help, it can be a great place to go, and it can be a great place to get to know some other traders as well. We also have our Tackle Today daily email. If you would like to get set up for it, you can, do that right in here. Just went into Tackle Today. You can get signed up for the daily email. Just a quick email each day to give you some ideas for the upcoming day in the market, as well as kind of the schedule here at Tackle Trading for the day. It is also posted in here in blog format, so it will get delivered faster to your inbox for sure. But you can read the Tackle Today directly in this Tackle Today link as well. Let's talk about the reports. So on Fridays, we're all getting together as a team of coaches, and we're going through what we call our scanning report meeting, where, we're kind of sharing our individual thoughts on the broad market, the sectors, the commodities, currencies, all of that fun stuff, trade setups that we found in our scanning or in our watch list that we're kind of eyeballing for next week. And out of that meeting comes our weekend reports, our newsletter, our stock option commodity reports. We'll get these delivered to the team by Saturday afternoon. The Tackle newsletter is think about the top-down approach again. Again, it's a big part of what we do and believe in here at Tackle Trading, and that's exactly what we're doing here in the newsletter each week. So, quick wrap up of the week that was, right? What was going on in the market? What was standing out? What were the storylines moving the market? All of that fun stuff, right? So, kind of a wrap up of the week that was. Talk about maybe some seasonality if it's got a place. Like right now, we're in the fourth quarter Santa Claus rally seasonality wise, right? That's not bad information to know. Talk a little bit about sectors, the upcoming calendar for the economic reports, of course, a video kind of going through all of this stuff with the team, where the broad market is, whether it's the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the Russell, and kind of our take on it. If you need the ETFs that track, or some ETFs at least, that track these different indexes, DIA tracks the Dow, QQQ tracks the NASDAQ, IWM tracks the RUT, and SPY tracks the S&P 500. A look at the market internals. We're going to look at over 8,000 stocks to see of these stocks, the market, right? Not just the biggest names in the market, but, the market, how many are putting in new highs versus how many are putting in new lows. It's going to really give us an idea of the overall relative strength or weakness of the market place, as opposed to maybe just looking at the S&P that can be heavily influenced by some of those super huge stocks, right? Like Apple and Microsoft and what have you. So we're also going to rank the sectors. Now, each week, we're going to rank the sectors based off of what we're seeing on the stocks in those sectors. What you're seeing here are the sector spiders, so XLY, XLI, et cetera. If you're not familiar with the sector spiders, what they do, they're ETFs. They'll go into the S&P 500 and pull out stocks on a sector by sector basis. So, for example, energy, XLE, we go into the S&P 500, we pull out just the energy stocks, we weight them accordingly and put them into a portfolio or a basket. And that's what we're looking at here. So this is giving me a much more isolated look at the energy sector versus, say, the communication sector versus, say, the technology sector, right? These are very interesting ETFs. If you want a little more information about the ETFs themselves, I would always suggest go straight to the source. Go to the ETF provider. Their website is just sectorspdr.com. And in there, you can see, who's in those, who makes up those ETFs, how are they weighted, all of that fun stuff. They are a great way to kind of get that quick view of these different sectors, right? Now, what we're doing is we're ranking the sectors is we're not ranking them specifically off of XLE. We're ranking them based off of the stocks that make up XLE as we're going through them one by one each and every week. And so we're going to be ranking the sectors based off of what we're seeing on the components that make them up. Now, our sectors are broken into three different areas. You're going to have the growth-oriented areas. That's going to be technology, communications, and discretionary. Then you're going to have the more cyclical areas. That's going to be financials, industrials, energy, and basic materials. Then we're going to have our more defensive sectors, healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities. So we are going to kind of break them into three kind of core areas because they kind of have some similarities as far as groupings are concerned. We're going to move them up or down each week based on, sometimes we'll keep them the same, of course, based off of what we're seeing on the stocks within that area. As you can kind of see, we put it on a football field here. Between the 40s is going to be neutral with maybe just a wee bit of a skew to the bull or the bear side, depending on which side of the 50 it's on. Between 40 and 20, it's going to be slightly, bullish or slightly bearish. Between the 20 and the goal line will be bullish or bearish. And as unlikely as it is, and it is very unlikely, you never say never, but it's very unlikely you're ever going to see us put an entire sector in plus very or minus very bearish conditions. That is just a little more aggressive than we are. And basically every stock in that sector would have to be showing, that much, right? It's very common for most of us, certainly for me, and I would say most of the other coaches, not all the other coaches as well, to put an individual stock at a plus or a -3. I really like this breakout. I really hate this stock. I really hate this company type of stuff. But when you're thinking about putting an entire sector there, it becomes a lot more difficult. And it definitely is more aggressive than we are. You never say never, but it will be extremely rare if it does occur that we put an entire sector or market in that aggressive of a ranking. We can kind of talk you through why and the thought process and the rationale of what we're seeing in the video portion of that. So that is our sector rankings. Again, there's the sector ETFs if you ever need them. At the end of our meeting, we get together and just kind of share some of our favorite, each coach will share their favorite setup for the week. Just a fun way to end the meeting and share some ideas with members of the team. You will find a link. If you're joining us as a pro member, I would certainly invite you to join us over on our tackle trading Discord. It's a great way to be able to communicate with the team, to chat throughout the day, bounce ideas off of one another. Really is a tremendous tool. You'll find a link to that in all of our reports, or you can get just send us an email if you're a pro member, and we can happily get you set up over there. But if you are a pro member, come join us over on Discord. I've had a lot of fun over there, and I think it's going to continue on. And I've got a couple good trade ideas out of it too. You'll find a friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation, right? We're all human. Sometimes we can get it in our heads that we're going to do a bull put spread and nothing in the world is going to stop us, right? We want to make sure that we're matching the strategy to the situation, right? So just a friendly little reminder to do that. You will find some pre-built scanners. So if a particular area has caught your attention, if you liked that move that you saw in energy today and want to do a quick scan of some energy stocks, we can easily hop over to a pre-built FinViz. I'm just going to hit this chart button here and get rid of that ad. This is going to bring us up a list of trader-friendly stocks. They are very liquid, so it's very easy to trade shares. They're borrowable, so we can go long or short. They're optionable. Now, just because a stock has options doesn't mean those options are all that great to trade. And so you, of course, want to double check that. And if you don't know how to do that, you'll learn about that in that Options 101 course. I would say as a whole, these are fairly easy to trade options on, but there are certainly some stocks within this list that I wouldn't feel comfortable trading options on, but that's okay. I can trade shares, right? So whether it's through shares or options, if I find something in here I like and do want to do a trade on, I'm not going to have a problem getting a trade going one way or the other. As you can kind of see, it's just going to give us this bird's eye view of these stocks, right? I wouldn't try to build a trade off these little tiny things, but I know what I like as a trader. Maybe this APA here, lots of big movement. That looks like a bullish retracement. That might be worth, in my opinion, taking a closer look at. If you click on the chart here, it'll bring you up a little bit more chart that you can work with. Again, I still wouldn't try to put a trade on with this, but gives you a little more to see. If it's interesting enough to pursue, I'll go look at it in my trading platform and see if there's something there. Just make sure you hit back to screen, or if you do what I just did, that'll make sure you get back here instead of get the screen reset. Just a very easy way to quickly scroll through a bunch of stocks in an area that's caught your attention to say, you know what, that's an interesting setup. Let's go take a closer look. So again, just designed to save you some time. We have that on all of the different sectors in here. Of course, just the World Watch, kind of the all world ETF, the US dollar, the dollar index, the global emerging markets, just kind of what's going on broadly speaking, and then just some final thoughts for the day. The trading, the newsletter is a big part of what we do. It's a big part of making sure we can keep the team updated on kind of how we're seeing the market and what's going on each week. Hopefully you will enjoy it. I always think it's the first place that you want to start. I want to talk a little bit about the stock and the option report as well. In many ways, they're going to be built the same way, right? As far as they're going to be built off of technical setups, repeatable, good, solid technicals, right? So retracements, breakouts, reversals, right? Whether it's in the stock report or options report, that is equally important. Where they're going to differ, of course, is things in the stock report are kind of put together more in mind of trading with shares of the stock. Now, that might be because the option liquidity is poor. That might be because it's a really cheap stock, and it might just make more sense in our estimation, at least, to look to play it through the equity. Whereas the options report, everything in there, we would be comfortable trading options on. We're comfortable with liquidity. And of course, in the options report, we can talk a little bit more about strategy selection, right? In the stock report, we're going to talk a little bit more about the technicals and the processes of it all, right? The option report, that stuff's every bit as important, right? But we're going to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about, well, this might be a scenario where I went with a bull call instead of a bull put, and here's why, right? So we can talk a lot about strategy selection in that options report, but we want to make sure our team has some good quality technical candidates for their watch list each week, both from a bullish and a bearish point of view, whether they're trading stock options or both, right? As a general rule, my philosophy is you can always trade things in the option report with stock if that's the route that you want to go. You can at least look to trade things in the stock report with options. It doesn't hurt to go check the liquidity and see if it's something I'm comfortable with. If it is, great. I'll build an option trade on it if that's what I want to do. If not, no big deal. I'll either trade the equity or I'll pass on the candidate, right? So there's going to be a little bit of bleed over, but of course, make sure you're checking that option liquidity really always. But on candidates in the stock report, that might be why it's here in the stock report instead of the option report. It might just be because the option liquidity for whatever reason isn't great, whereas the stock liquidity is perfectly in line. So we want to make sure our team has some trade ideas. We can kind of talk you through, some of that in the video. Want to make sure whether it's bull or bear, right? Even in the most bullish markets, we still want to have a couple of bearish candidates. We might not trade them. They might not trigger. We might not get in if they do, but it's not a bad idea to always be prepared, right? For whatever the market has to throw at us. We do use these trading view charts quite a bit, as you've seen here on Tackle Trading. So I always like to take just a couple minutes and give people a couple of pointers on these charts. If you hit this little watch list, this little widget right here, that will just hide the watch list. So you have a little more chart to work with. If you smack it again, that will bring the list back to us here. So a little more chart to work with. If you want to add an indicator or two, you'll find that right here. I'm going to add the ATR here, and that will be good for me. If I need to move, if I need to kind of fix the sizing of this thing, I could just hover my mouse over the little window between the volume and that newly added indicator, hold the left mouse button down and scrunch it down or up as I see fit. So I can kind of get that size the right way. If you're in the chart, you zoom, scroll up, you can zoom, scroll down, you can zoom out. If you hold your left mouse button down in the body of the chart, you can do this back and forth. If you hold your left mouse button down over in the dollar side of it, you can scrunch or you can unscrunch, whatever that might be. So just to kind of get it sized the way that you would like it to do so. Its default, as you can, of course, see, to the candlesticks. Most of us use candlesticks. I think, probably, if not all, most of us at Tackle Trading do. But I still know a couple people who prefer bar charts. So if that is you, you can easily switch it over to that bar chart. The default setting, these are swing trading candidates. And so the default setting is going to be set up to the daily time frame, but there is some customization. We might want to go into the hourly chart to take a bird's eye view. We might want to take a look at the weekly chart to look at the longer term view, all of that fun stuff. So you can change your time frame on that little drop down. Your trend line tool is going to be in here. So whether we're drawing an actual trend line, kind of like we've got going on right here, or if we're drawing horizontal, resistance or support levels, very easy to do. If I don't need that, I can just left click it and hit that trash bin, and that'll get rid of it for me. Let's see here. The other big thing I want to talk about within here is this one right here. And then here's where we can prep out our longer short trades. So this is a bullish retracement here on CVE. So we'll use these guys as an example. I'll go into the long position and I'll just say, I'm not going to get super specific here, but I want it to come through this trend line that I just drew here, right? So I want my entry, for our example, at least to be 1288. That's where I'm looking to get in to this stock. I'd like to put my stop loss below today's low. That's where I'd like my stop loss. And I have a target price in mind at $14.50 or at $14, right? Whatever the case might be, we'll just say $14.50 for fun. This is going to let me kind of see what that risk to reward looks like. For every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.49 in potential profits for me. So well over the 2-to-1 threshold that most swing traders, including myself, ask for. Maybe you don't think 1450 is a reasonable swing trading target. You'd be a lot more comfortable going to 14. You can see, well, my risk to reward is going to drop down. Maybe I want to go intraday for maybe some stop loss placements. Maybe I'm going to go look at that hourly chart and I'm going to pull my stop loss up below, here. So you can really kind of build out and prep out that trade, save you a lot of time in doing a bunch of math and stuff, which is always a good thing in my estimation, at least. So really, really helpful tool. Of course, you'll have the same thing for the short positions as well, so you can prep out either long or short. So we want to make sure the team does have good ideas. You don't have to like them all, and you probably won't. You don't have to trade anything that you don't want to trade, and you absolutely should not, but there's no bad way to find a good trading candidate. We know that not everybody, I'm around the market all day long and I love looking at charts, and I've got the luxury of time to do so and all of that fun stuff. I know not everybody does though. And so we want to make sure that, no matter who you are, whether it's time or you just don't, maybe you don't like to scan the markets like I do. We want to make sure everybody has some quality candidates to add to their watch list each and every week. We can talk you through them, share ideas about them in a little more detail in the video portion of the reports. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of those reports. Again, you can expect them by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to get through any or all before the market gets opened back up again. As we get wrapping up here this evening, you can find us on all of the traditional social media platforms. Of course, on our YouTube channel, we are probably best known in a lot of ways for our live streams, right? Our halftime report or our Trade Masters webinar. But we also have a lot of other content, a lot of walkthroughs, how-tos, what-ares, thinkorswim tutorials, and we're always thinking about new things that we can add to our YouTube channel as well. So I certainly, invite you to join us over on YouTube and do the YouTube thing. The subscribe and notification bell really does help us out, and we certainly do appreciate it. If you're a Facebook user, we have an entire Facebook group. I'm not a Facebook guy, but I know a lot of people like that platform, and it can be another great way to connect with the team. So we do have our tackle trading Facebook group. We certainly invite you to join us if you're a Facebook user as well. Over on Twitter, a great way to be able to share, what's going on here at Tackle Trading, interesting charts. Every Thursday, I do a Frank's Chart Thursday edition where I can kind of, take a candidate from my watch list and kind of walk folks through my read of that technical situation. A lot of fun to do. It's a lot of fun to talk with other traders as a trader, right? So I certainly invite you to join us at any of these platforms that you're using. If you're not using them, that's fine. I certainly understand that. But it can be lonely as a trader. It really can, because most of the time we're by ourselves, in our office or home office. Most of the time, a lot of the folks in our, day-to-day normal life don't trade, so they don't want to talk trading with us, right? It's important to have ways, I think, to communicate, to bounce ideas around with other like-minded folks that are going through the same stuff that you are. And there's a lot of ways that you can do that here at Tackle Trading, whether it's in our lounge every morning or hanging out in the chat in the halftime report, getting over to Discord, hollering at me on Twitter, joining the Facebook group, getting in the clubhouse. There's a lot of ways to do it. And, you can build your own. I always tell folks to build your own tackle trading, right? If you, use what is comfortable for you or what fits into what you're doing, right? If you're a brand new trader, you might gravitate more towards, the newsletter and the stock report and the technical analysis course. If you're a grizzled vet that has been trading options for years, you might gravitate more towards the cash flow club, the options report. And there's, of course, no right or wrong answer there, right? We do a lot of content each week. We want to make sure our team is getting plenty, right? But that doesn't mean you can't prioritize. That doesn't mean you can't kind of have, hey, these are the things I'm working on right now, and this is what's most important to me. Build your own tackle trading. That's what I love about tackle trading and love about trading in general is I can build it around me and what I like and what my time schedule looks like and all of that fun stuff. And you can do the same. Never hesitate to reach out to us if you do need anything. Maybe you just can't find something. Maybe you're struggling with something, whatever it might be. We're always here to help. Never hesitate to send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. That is what we are here for. Never hesitate to lean on your team. If you have some questions, there's a lot of good folks around here that are very, very helpful. And we all want to see each other succeed in the market. If there's a way that I can help you, I'm more than happy to do so. And I would imagine you would probably say the same. So you are not in this alone. Nobody can ever make our trades for us, but we are definitely stronger together. We can definitely lean on one another. And it's fun to have a lot of trader friends all around the country. That's one of the cool things I think about tackle trading is I know traders all over, not just the country, but really all over the world that I never would have had a chance to meet had it not been for this community. So always appreciate our team members. If you have just joined us, I welcome you to the team, and I certainly look forward to getting to know you better as the days go by. If you're just checking us out, I certainly appreciate you doing so. Hope I will see you around again as well. We do have a standing offer of a free 15-day trial if you want to come in, check out what's going on here in tackle trading without having to make any commitment. It'll be in a link to all of our YouTube videos to get you set up. You can also find it over in the store tab as well. So if you're thinking about it but not quite sure it's a good fit, well, we can give it a trial, see if it is. If it is, great. If it isn't, that's okay too, right? We all want to see everybody succeed in the market, wherever that might be. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this evening. I hope it helped you get a better understanding of what we're doing, where you can find it, and who we are here at Tackle Trading. I will certainly look forward to seeing you all again. I have no doubt that I will in one way or another. So I'll look forward to that. I'll let you get out of here this evening, but thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Tackle Trading, and I will see you all very